Hello, students of Standard Ninth. Today we will learn Lesson 4.2 The Storyteller. Is one of the best known short stories written by Saki, the pen name of author H. H. Munro. It was a hot afternoon, and the railway carriage is a coach, was correspondingly sultry. Sultry means hot and humid. And the next stop was at Templecombe, nearly an hour ahead. The occupants of the carriage, that is, the passengers in the railway coach, were a small girl and a smaller girl and a small boy. Their aunt occupied one corner seat, and the further corner seat on the opposite side was occupied by a bachelor, one who is not married, who was a stranger, an unknown person to their party. But the small girls and the small boy forcefully occupied the compartment. Both the aunt and the children were conversational in a limited. Limited means they were having short conversation. Persistent, continuously firm way, reminding one of the attention of a housefly that refuses to be discouraged. Most of the aunt's remark seems to begin with don't, and nearly all of the children's remarks began with why. The bachelor said nothing out loud. Don't, Cyril, don't, exclaimed the aunt, as the small boy began smacking the cushion of the seat. Smacking is striking with palm, producing a cloud of dust at each blow. Come and look out of the window, she added. The child moved reluctantly, that means unwilling and hesitant, to the window. Why are those sheep been driven out of that field? He asked. I expect they have been driven to another field where there is more grass, said the aunt weakly. But there is lots of grass in that field, protested the boy. There's nothing else but grass there, aunt. There's lots of grass in that field. Perhaps the grass in the other field is better, suggested the aunt fatuously. Fatuously means foolishly. Why is it better? Came the swift, inevitable question. Inevitable means unavoidable. Oh, look at those cows, exclaimed the aunt. Nearly every field along the line had contained cows or bullocks, but she spoke as though she were drawing attention to a rarity. Rarity means which is not common. Why is the grass in the other field better? Persisted Cyril. The frown on the bachelor's face was deepening to a scowl. Frown is where the brows contract in displeasure, means he was not happy. Scowl is where he gives a angry look. He was a hard, unsympathetic man. Unsympathetic means he did not have any feelings. The aunt decided in her mind she was utterly unable to come to any satisfactory decision about the grass in the other field. The small girl created a diversion. Diversion means she diverted from this topic of the cows, the sheep grazing the field, by beginning to recite on the road to Mandalay. She only knew the first line, but she put her limited knowledge to the fullest possible use. She repeated the line over and over again in a dreamy but resolute and very audible voice. Resolute is firm and audible means we are able to hear. It seemed to the bachelor as though someone had a bet with her that she could not repeat the line aloud 2,000 times without stopping. Whoever it was who had made the wager was likely to lose his pet. Come over here and listen to a story, said the aunt, when the bachelor had looked twice at her. The children moved listlessly. Listlessly means inactively towards the aunt's end of the carriage. Evidently, her reputation means known for as a storyteller, did not rank high in their estimation. Estimation means opinion. In a low, confidential voice, that means in a very secretly low voice, interrupted at frequent intervals. Interrupted means she was stopped continuously by loud, petulant questioning. That means petulant is unreasonable from her listeners. She began an unenterprising and deplorable, uninteresting story. Unenterprising means she was not expert in saying a story, and deplorable means pitiful. About a little girl who was good and made friends with everyone on account of her goodness, and was finally saved from a mad bull by a number of rescuers. Rescuers are the one who saves someone from difficulty or dangerous situation. Who admired her moral character. Wouldn't they have saved her if she hadn't been good? Demanded the bigger of the small girls. It was exactly the question that the bachelor had wanted to ask. Well, yes, admitted the aunt lamely. Admitted means confessed. But I don't think they would have run quite so fast to her help if they had not liked her so much. It is the stupidest story I have ever heard, said the bigger of the small girls, with immense conviction. Immense conviction means she strongly believed. I didn't listen after the first bit. It was so stupid, said Cyril. The smaller girl made no actual comment on the story, but she had long ago recommended means continued a murmured repetition of her favorite line. You don't seem to be a success as a storyteller, said the bachelor suddenly from his corner. The aunt bristled. Bristled means she got angry in instant defense at this unexpected attack. It's very difficult thing to tell stories that children can both understand and appreciate, she said stiffly. Stiffly means firmly. I don't agree with you, said the bachelor. Perhaps you would like to tell them a story, was the aunt's retort. Retort means very sharp, angry reply. Tell us a story, demanded the bigger of the small girls. Once upon a time, began the bachelor, there was a little girl called Bertha, who was extraordinarily good. Extraordinarily means very good. And the children momentarily, that means for a moment, aroused interest, began at once to flicker. Flicker means whatever interest they had, it became less. All stories seemed dreadfully alike. They felt all the stories were same, no matter who told them. She did all that she was told. She was always truthful. She kept her clothes clean, ate milk pudding as though they were jam tarts, learnt her lesson perfectly, and was polite in her manners. Was she pretty? Asked the bigger of the small girls. Not as pretty as any of you, said the bachelor, but she was horribly good. Horribly means extremely good. There was a wave of reaction in favor of the story. The word horrible in connection with goodness was a novelty because horrible stands for extremely bad. So it was a novelty for these children. Novelty means new. That commended itself. That means it was acceptable, proved to be acceptable. horribly good phrase. It seemed so to introduce a ring of truth that was absent from the aunt's tale of infant life. Infant life means young children or babies. She was so good, continued the bachelor, that she won several medals for goodness, which she always wore, pinned onto her dress. There was a medal for obedience, that is to obey, another medal for punctuality, that is to be on time, and third for good behavior. There were large metal medals and they clinked against one another as she walked. No other child in the town where she lived had as many as 3 medals, so everybody knew that she must be an extra good child. Horribly good? Quoted Cyril. Everybody talked about her goodness, and the prince of the country got to hear about it. And he said that as she was very good, she might be allowed once a week to walk in his park, which was just outside the town. It was a beautiful park, and no children were ever allowed in it. So it was a great honor for Bertha to be allowed to go there. Were there any sheep in the park? Demanded Cyril. No, said the bachelor. There were no sheep, but there were other small, harmless animals in the park. The storyteller paused to let a full idea of the park's treasures sink into the children's imaginations. Then he resumed. Resumed means he continued. Bertha was rather sorry to find that there were no flowers in the park. She had promised her aunt, with tears in her eyes, that she would not pick any of the kind prince flowers, and she had meant to keep her promise. So, of course, it made her feel silly to find that there were no flowers to pick. Why weren't there any flowers? Because the animals had eaten them all, said the bachelor promptly, immediately. The gardeners had told the prince that couldn't have animals and flowers, so he decided to have animals and no flowers. There was a murmur. Murmur means they were speaking softly. Of approval. Approval means acceptance at the excellence of the prince's decision. So many people would have decided the other way. That means they would have decided to have flowers instead of animals. There were lots of other delightful things in the park. There were ponds with gold and blue and green fish in them, and trees with beautiful parrots that said clever things at a moment's notice, and hummingbirds that hummed all the popular tunes of the day. Bertha walked up and down and enjoyed herself immensely, and thought to herself, if I were not so extraordinarily good, I should not have been allowed to come into this beautiful park and enjoy all that there is to be seen in it. And her 3 medals clinked against one another as she walked and helped to remind her how very good she really was. Just then, an enormous wolf came prowling into the park. Prowling means moving in search of prey, to see if it could catch a fat little animal for its supper. Supper is the dinner. The first thing that it saw in the park was Bertha. Her pinafore was so spotlessly white. Pinafore is a dress which is worn over a shirt or a t-shirt, which is sleeveless and collarless and clean, that it could be seen from a great distance. Bertha saw the wolf and saw that it was stealing towards her, and she began to wish that she had never been allowed to come into the park. She ran as hard as she could, and the wolf came after her with huge leaps and bounds. She managed to reach a shrubbery of myrtle bushes, and she hid herself in one of the thickest of the bushes. The wolf came sniffing among the branches, its black tongue lolling out of its mouth, and its pale grey eyes glaring with rage, with anger. Bertha was terribly frightened and thought to herself, if I had not been so extraordinarily good, extraordinarily means exceptionally, I should have been safe in the town at this moment. However, the scent of the metal was so strong that the wolf could not sniff out where Bertha was hiding, and the bushes were so thick that he might have hunted about in them for a long time without catching sight of her. So he thought he might as well go off and catch a little animal instead. Bertha was trembling very much at having the wolf prowling and sniffing so near her, and as she trembled, the medal for obedience clinked against a medal for good conduct and punctuality. The wolf was just moving away when he heard the sound of the medals clinking and stopped to listen. They clinked again in a bush quite near him. He dashed into the bush, his pale grey eyes gleaming. Gleaming means shining, reflecting light, with curiosity. Curiosity is fierceness and triumph, and dragged Bertha out and devoured her. Devoured her means he ate greedily to the last morsel. That means nothing was left of her. All that was left of her were her shoes, bits of clothing, and the 3 medals for goodness. The story began badly, said the smaller of the small girls, but it had a beautiful ending. It is the most beautiful story that I ever heard, said the bigger of the small girls with immense decision. Immense means extremely large. It is the only beautiful story I have ever heard, said Cyril. A dissenting opinion, that is, agreeing opinion, came from the aunt. A most improper story to tell to young children. You have undermined means weakened the base, the effect of years of careful teaching. At any rate, said the bachelor, collecting his belongings, preparatory to leave the carriage, I kept them quiet for 10 minutes, which was more than you were able to do. Unhappy woman, he observed to himself as he walked down the platform of Templecombe station. For the next 6 months or so, those children will assail her in public with demands for an improper story. So students, I hope you have enjoyed the story, and for your assignment you have the warming up on page 84. You have questions at the side on page 85, 86, 88, 89 and 90. And English workshop on page 90, 91 and 92. Thank you.